Unit 6, Lesson 12, Solving Problems about percent of increase and decrease. So we're drifting back into Unit 4. And they're going to show you equations that represent increasing and decreasing. So I can solve story problems about percent of increase and decrease by drawing and reasoning with tape diagrams or by writing and solving an equation. So we did a lot of this already this year. They want us to circle all the expressions that show x is increased by 35%. Now, I want to remind you, excuse me, that x, oops, I gotta turn on my drawing tool. I always forget to do that. That x is automatically 100%. Okay, if I'm increasing it by 35%, that means I'm adding 35%. And you have to remember that's of x. Of tells me to multiply. Okay, so I have 100% and 35% of x. Of tells me to multiply. So it's 100% times x and then 35% times x. Now, if I want to change a percent to a decimal, I move that decimal 2 places to the left. So that's 1x and then plus 0.35x. So I can get 1.35x. So that would be A. B shows me just the increase. It doesn't include x. X is 100%. If I'm just multiplying by 35%, I'm not going to get there. X plus 35 over 100. A percent is the amount out of 100. C works. D, 1 plus 0.35 times x. Well, 1 plus 0.35 is going to give me 1.35 times x. D works. E, 100 plus 35 over 100, x. Well, that's 135% of x. Well, if I have 100 and I increase by 35, that's 135%. The last one says 100 plus 35x. Well, that's 135 times x. No. And the reason why not is because they didn't change the percent to a decimal and they didn't take it out of 100. So you should have had A, C, D, and E. Select all the equations that result in a decrease of x by 80%. So remember, x is 100. So 100% of x. And if I'm decreasing, I'm subtracting 80% of x. Okay? So that leaves me with 20% of x. Remember, you're moving that decimal over 2 places. So that's 1x minus 8/10 x equals 2/10 x. Okay, because you're moving that decimal over 2 places. So 20 out of 100, yep, because percents are out of 100. X minus 80 over 100x, yep, that'll work because it's an understood that it's the total amount. 100 minus 20, well, they're decreasing by 80, not by 20. 80x, no, because they want to know they're decreasing by 80%. 1 minus 8/10 is going to give me 2x, yep. So you should have had A, B, and E. All right, so now they want us to drag and drop the story or the equation next to the correct story problem. So I'm going to turn off my drawing tool. It says the initial freshman class at a college is 10% smaller than last year's class. But then during the first week of classes, 20 more students enroll. There are 830 students in the class. Okay. So that 20 students is going to be its own thing. So 100 minus 10% is going to leave me with 90%. Plus those 20 extra students. Then a store reduces the price of a computer by $20. Then, during a 10% off sale, the customer pays $830. So they reduced it by $20, then did the 10% reduction. So that tells me that I get 10% off that 20 too. All right, explain why one has parentheses and the other does not. Okay, well, let's think about this. What do I know? I know in the first story, the 20 students were added after the 10% reduction. In the second story, the 10% reduction was taken after the $20 savings. So you have to think what happened first. All right, solve the freshman class problem and explain what its solution means. Okay. So I have 0.9x plus 20 equals 830. So I zero out first. So I'm getting rid of those 20 more students. So that's 810. So I have 9/10 x. So I want to figure out what it is for just one x. So if I multiply by 9/10, I'm going to divide by 9/10. So I'm going to use my calculator, maybe. Yep, it's right here. 810 divided by 9/10. I get 900 students. What does that mean? 900 students were enrolled last year. All right, solve the store problem and explain what that means. So I have 9/10 times x minus 20 equals 830. So the first thing I want to do is distribute. So I have 9/10 x and then 9/10 . So now I'm going to add $18. So I'm going to divide by 9/10 because I zeroed out and now I'm trying to find for 1. So 848 divided by 9/10 leaves me with $942.22. What does this mean? The cost of the computer was originally $942.22. All right. Next one, Claire paid 50% more for her notebook than Priya paid for hers. Priya paid X. So remember, Priya paid 100%, right? So that means that Claire paid 150%. Write an equation that represents the relationship between X and Y. So write an expression that shows what Claire paid for her notebook. Okay, so Claire is X, and okay, so 1.50, I move my decimal over 2 places. X is going to be equal to Y because Y is what Claire paid for it. Write an equation about what Priya paid for her notebook. Okay, so that could be y minus 1.50 is equal to x. Oh, I'm sorry, not minus, divided by. Because I'm just switching it around. Okay, because I'm just solving for this equation, so I'm just moving the 1.5 from one side to the other. A bookstore marked down the price of all books in a certain series by 15%. How much was the discount on a book that normally costs $18? So 15%. So how much was the discount? So they don't want the cost, they want the discount. So that's 1.5 times, not 1.5. So a 15% discount. So that's 0.15x. So that would be 0.15 times 18. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 0.15 times 18. $2.70. All right, then they want to know, what will the book cost after the discount? So let's make an equation that says that. So that would be, if I have 100% and I'm saving 15%, that means I'm paying 85%. So that'd be 0.85 times 18. And I get $15.30. All right, Noah is visiting Texas. He wants to buy a belt buckle whose price is $25. He knows the sales tax is 6.25%. How much will the tax be on the belt buckle? Okay, so I know if I have 6.25%, I'm moving my decimal 2 places, so I have to put a 0 there. So 0.0625 times 25. Remember, when they're touching, that tells me to multiply. So I get 15625. And I know that I can only have 2 places behind the decimal in money, so it's $1.56 is going to be the tax. All right, how much will Noah spend for the belt buckle including the sales tax? Okay, so that would be 1.0625 times 25, right? Because I'm adding it because a tax is an addition. So 1.0625 times 25, I get $26.56 because that extra 25 I can't have because money has 2 places behind the decimal. The last one says, write an equation that represents the total cost of an item whose price is P. So the cost is going to be equal to, and they want the total cost including the tax, 1.0625 times the price. So the price of any item times 1.0625 is going to equal the cost. All right, your cool down. It's just like the first 2 problems. They want you to select all. So an item costs X dollars, then a 20% discount is applied. What could be used to represent the price after the discount? So make sure you're paying attention to that. After the discount. They don't want the discount, they want after the discount. The last part is I understand, but you need more practice. So you're in do Khan Academy. You want to watch somebody else do it, Mr. Morgan. You need help with a study buddy. Email a friend, get on Zoom, talk it out with somebody else. And then you can always make an appointment with me Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day.